People, we're back again after the monstrosity that I saw versus Leicester City. Terrible result, very indicting performance in terms of the mentality. I think a cup final is always a great indication of the mentality that is in the squad. Listen, it was an embarrassing performance. I call it an embarrassing performance, but the performance itself, in terms of the level of concentration and the defending, it wasn't. But the inability to come back from a goal behind is what's so indicting. It's what's so embarrassing about this loss. But we'll get into 5 things related to this result and game, and I think I'm gonna go over number 1. It's Werner and Ziyech. 2 mildly senior players who were signed this summer in aspirations to see them succeed and become, Ziyech the chance creator and Werner the chance finisher. But it just hasn't been the case this year. No matter what the numbers are for Werner, it's still been a very underwhelming season. It's still been a season with more downs than ups, and that's the truth. No matter what his numbers say, I know his numbers are double digits, goals and assists, but I don't care about that. Because I have mentioned before in other streams that this kind of striker will not benefit us in the big games because he is not clinical enough. In the big games, when you need your striker to come up clutch and score 1 goal out of two or three chances, he's not going to be the man. And people might bring up the Real Madrid game, fair enough. It was a good performance with a goal that he should have scored, and if he didn't score, he'll probably be out of the club. I'm genuinely serious. That chance was a must-goal chance, and he's been frustrating. His movement, his lack of technical ability, his IQ is the biggest problem because he seems to be making the wrong decisions at every time, and the players trying to find him get confused by his movement. His movement always seems to be offside as well. Always seems to be offside. He has 3 or 4 offsides a game, and I understand because he lives on the edge of the last defender and tries to find a space in behind. But as a striker, you're taught 2 things. You time your run, which is very easy to do, especially when you have pace. And number 2, you curve your run. You curve it so you can avoid the offside. But I feel like he's incapable of doing these things. People tell me he's not a striker, but we bought him as one. We bought him as a striker who scored 28 goals last season. Why do we have excuses for him now? He's been poor, and last game was very frustrating with Werner. We hope that he turns his fortunes around, but next year he has very limited time to prove himself to the club, to the fans, and if he doesn't, then I'll be very worried about our board because we used to be a ruthless club, and we can't wait for this guy to show up because we have trophies to win this season and the next. When it comes to Ziyech, Ziyech is someone who, in the first half, I was on Strong TV watch along, and in the first half, I said he had a decent performance. Another person came in, and it was CFC Gem. Shout out to CFC Gem. Told me he should come off. He's been terrible, and I actually disagreed with him. And I'm someone who's spoken out against Ziyech again because he hasn't impressed me, and I was never with the signing in the first place. And I'll explain why. Because I feel like he's the kind of person who will try the pass time after time, and it will hurt the team because the flow of the team gets lost in him trying that risky ball. And sometimes you need to try that risky ball. Of course you need it. But that ball demand as much as it is in the Holland League or the Eredivisie or the French League or the Bundesliga. It's not the same because unfortunately we face teams that are compact and they don't leave space in behind. And Timo Werner and Ziyech are examples of players that want space, that will exploit the space. But Ziyech, he's the kind of person who tried 10 times and helped me once. And what I mean by that is he'll try it 10 times and it might work out once. Or we might get the chance like we did versus Arsenal with the header. But in a Tuchel team, having a player like Hakim Ziyech makes 0 sense to me. I'll be very honest. Maybe, listen, if you have a player in your squad who you play for certain games, then that player is not good enough for your club. And that's the reality of it. If he's only good for one style of play, it's not good enough. Not good enough in today's game. Not good enough. Listen, they've both been very disappointing, but As you can see, guys, listen, it's a rant. It's a rant. I don't rant on this channel. Sometimes I try to be objective. Actually, most times I try to be objective, but losing a cup final, this is what it does to you. This is what it does to you. So we hope these two improve. Not going to have a lot of time, and deservedly so. So one can only hope and pray to see better form from them. Regarding number 2, I think I'm going to be looking at Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel made some decisions that were arguable. I'll go over them. For me, when it comes to the keeper, very debatable decision. Alonso, and you could argue the front three. When it comes to the keeper, I just want to clarify something. We, as a club, I said this last time, do not scapegoat players. Do not scapegoat players. And I've seen a couple of fans do that. And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because you can't tell me that Mendy being there would have changed the outcome. Because we can't control the hypothetical. We can't control that. It's impossible because something called the butterfly effect. You change one thing and everything changes. We don't know if things will change. It makes no sense. But at the same time, a good point was brought to me in a manner of saying, is playing your alternative goalkeeper a good message to the squad? Would they take the seriousness of this game differently? And you know what? I thought about that. And I think to myself, if that's the message the players got, then their mentality is weak anyways. Because they don't need to be motivated for a cup final. They don't. It's a cup final. The FA Cup is a prestigious trophy, but I'll be honest, I do not care about it as much. I care about winning. Winning mentalities. Pep Guardiola cares about winning. The greatest manager in our time at the moment. He cares about winning. The Carabao Cups that he wins, the reason he does isn't because the Carabao Cup is a prestigious trophy that he'll hang up and be his most valued trophy. No, it's because it's about winning. And losing 8 out of your last 11 finals is an indicting figure. It's an embarrassing figure. But back to my topic. This is gonna lack structure of the video, but listen, that's where the anger and the frustration comes from. Thomas Tuchel, listen, I just want to clarify that. Listen, we have praised him in the past for his use of the squad and keeping everyone happy in a way which I hate. This shouldn't be the case, but unfortunately we have a squad full of spoiled, highly paid athletes who need to have some sort of reassurance, which is annoying. It's just today's society, but he's done a very good job at that. But it's time for him to be ruthless. It's time for him to play his best squad, regardless of who is playing, regardless of who we're playing, regardless of where we're playing. Play your best squad. It doesn't matter. These are cup finals coming up. We don't even have to go into the final, because in the final, of course, you play your best squad. This is a Man City we're facing. He made some poor mistakes, and I think he will learn from them. He's the kind of manager who will learn from them. Chilwell should have started, because you can see the fire in his belly. Chilwell was there to try and stick it to his old team, and he should have given him that opportunity. And you know what? Listen, I think Thomas Tuchel, the last 2 games, hasn't had the best tactical outputs when it comes to the lineup and the tactics, but the changes were correct. So that helps me, helps me prove to myself that I was right to back him, because again, he made the right changes. It was just at the wrong time, and he doesn't usually make late changes. So nothing worries me about that. It's a cup final, and you can't blame the players. The manager takes blame, of course. Number 4, I'm gonna go and talk about the fans. Listen, when I say the fans, I don't just mean the fans in the stadium, because people have been talking about how they're not been loud enough, which I don't agree with actually. I think I watched some videos, and in first person point of view, I can see they were loud enough. The fans that have been scapegoating players and you know, blaming the loss on one player, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I said this last video and I'll say it again. We don't do that at Chelsea. We lost because of a team effort, because of a combination of the manager and the players. So we can't blame one player. Jorginho might have had a bad performance, which I don't think he did. He got blamed for the goal. Makes no sense that he did. Regardless, he's in our team right now. Kovacic is not fit. Billy Gilmore is not going to play. That's the truth. He hasn't had the best of performances, and if he keeps in this path, then I'll start thinking about alternative options. Of course, as a fan, I care about my club first, not the player. Kepa Arrizabalaga, I mentioned him. He didn't do anything wrong that game. I think the shot was an incredible shot, and you can lose the game with that kind of shot because the game was so in balance between the two teams that you needed a shot like that to change the outcome. You needed a special goal to change the outcome. We've also tried to target Ziyech and Werner, which I have done myself in this video, but it's not targeting. I'm just pointing out criticism, and they deserve it. For me, they deserve it for that performance. Listen, I think I'm gonna be looking at the final thing is the next game, which is against Leicester City. I believe the board have intruded again on our affairs when it comes to on the pitch, which is the incorrect thing, and they might have sent a message to Tuchel that the Tuesday game is more important. The Tuesday versus Leicester City, the Premier League game, which could decide our fate in the top 4. And that's worrying to me. It's a very important game, yes, but for me, trophies over everything. Winning mentality over everything. Lifting that trophy, the young squad lifting a trophy, it has to happen. They have to get over this hurdle. Otherwise, we're gonna nurture and grow a team of bottlers. We don't live in North London. We don't do these things. We must improve. We must win the next trophy we can. If it's the Champions League, then listen, everything that's happened this season could be forgiven, but not forgotten. When it comes to the next game, I think, listen, best squad needs to play, and we need to win. We need to win. I'm still raging about yesterday's game, but we have to improve. One can only hope that we do. I think I'm gonna leave it here because I know I don't show a lot of anger. I try to be objective again. I try to be calm, but trust me, there's a lot of anger inside. There's a lot of anger. Thank you guys for watching. Before I head off, I just want to ask you guys to like, subscribe, and share this video if you can. I haven't done that enough in my videos, and people have been reminding me to, so make sure you like it, make sure you subscribe. I'm going to try and do more content. You can see me trying to do more and more content for you people. Listen, thank you for watching, and I'll see you.